Hey, well, I think we're gonna get started and then people will come in and I'll just let people in as they go. And yeah, feel free to keep typing while you're here. We'd love to just read them all. It's always nice. Um, and it's great to have so many people here as well. But I'm Charlotte Drummond. I am one of the publishing department managers. I helped put the books through the publishing process through Story Merchant Books specifically. So if you end up working or are currently working, you may recognize my name for book working and making sure your book goes out into the world. So yeah, Ken, he founded Story Merchant Books as well as Atchity Productions and Story Merchant as a whole. And Story Merchant as a whole, as well as the Writer's Lifeline, helps you curate your book and kind of get it ready for publishing. And then Story Merchant Books is basically the publishing process. Um, so yeah, Ken has been helping with all those branches, and we've been kind of using these webinars to help spread that knowledge. And yeah, kind of get everyone in the writing and publishing mood because that's what we love. So I'll let Ken talk for a little bit. And yeah, we can get started. Ken, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you for all your hard work organizing these things. And thanks everybody for showing up and coming. I hope I can answer any questions that we're able to get to today. And I'll spend today mostly on questions because I find that that's ends up being the most useful because I'll try to answer questions in a way that are useful to everyone. And if you could not ask questions that are so particular that no one else is interested, that would help too. But hope everybody is doing well. And when you do ask a question, I wanted to say a few words first about what I call the waiting room. Is there anybody here who's waiting for anything right now? If you, raise your hands if you are waiting for anything. Well, that's a remarkably small number of people waiting. Like I find that in this business of artistic communication, we spend most of our time waiting. Uh, and writers ask me every day or tell me every day, um, well, I finished my screenplay and I asked them, what are you going to do next? And they said, well, I'm going to wait to see how it does. Um, and or I finished my book, I'm going to wait to see how it goes. And obviously, that is not a good strategy for this business. Um, what I call the waiting room is the time, most of the time in our lives. And it's a time when we get most things done, even though they may not be the very focal thing that you were hoping to get done first. Um, so when I'm in the waiting room, I do webinars, for example, or I start a new book, or I write an article, or I work on a screenplay, or I edit. And I never let the waiting room actually just let me wait. Um, and so when you ask your question, I'd love to hear today what it is you're doing while you're waiting for whatever you're waiting for. Um, and the Italians once said there's more time than life. And I always found that to be a very puzzling and strange and wonderful comment. What they meant is people don't know what to do with their time and waste much of it. And there's so many things to be done uh, that you have to be conscious of it all the time and use your time to create the things you want to create in your life and do the things you want to do. Um, I used to have a friend who would be able to, he would sit down in his easy chair and spend literally hours in his easy chair. And I was always kind of jealous of him, but on the other hand, I couldn't believe how much time he was using. He was complaining all the time about not getting things done, but on the other hand, he simply wasn't doing it. Shakespeare said action is eloquence, and that's the exact thing that I'm talking about is that make sure you're doing things while you're waiting, and let me know what you're working on when you ask a question. So let's start into the questions. Charlotte will call on you, and I see there's a queue, so we can start with that.
Yeah,
Love to answer any questions I can.
yeah. Let us start. Let me look. So yeah, Grace is the first person to raise her hand, I see. So yeah, you just are going to use the raise hand feature, um, uh, which should appear on like the reactions or on participants if you click on your name. So I'm going to go ahead and put Grace up. And yeah, Grace, you can prepare your question.
Hey, Grace.
Hi, could you unmute yourself and then you can talk? Oh,
Yeah, Grace, your
lovely.
microphone is turned off.
Hello.
There we
Hi, Dr. Kane. I am Grace from India, an author and IP creator. I have written a fantasy novel. I'm not a screenwriter.
Great, Grace. You
go.
need to start over again because you need to speak directly into your microphone because I'm not getting what you're saying. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
You're in India?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Dr. Kane. I am Grace from India, an author and IP creator. I have written a fantasy novel. I am not a screenwriter. The Crimson Orchid Legacy of the Mirror Throne. Just a small hands up. English is not my first language, and I am using translating tool like Gemini to bridge the gap. I might take a moment to mm, process your American essence, but I am here because I truly value your insight on taking stories the global screen. Excited to learn from you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Where are you in India?
Yes, I am from India.
Where in India?
West Bengal, Kolkata.
Calcutta? Near Calcutta?
Yes.
Yeah, great. My wife goes to India every year for her company, Yoga Gives Back. Um,
Oh, wow.
we're very familiar with Calcutta.
Okay.
So, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you. As an IP creator, I have developed a fantasy universe called the Crimson Orchid. Do you have any specific advice for inter intercreation authors on how to pitch stories that have strong potential from screen development?
Stories that have what? Sorry, didn't understand.
Stories that have strong potential for screen adoption?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's you would be doing exactly what everyone in any country would do, which is to find a somebody in Hollywood to pitch the story to, and treat yourself as though you were, right here in, you know, Iowa or Idaho or California, and find a way of pitching the story, develop your pitch, and then pitch it to somebody who's in the business. And of course, India is very, very lively film business. Have you been in touch with the Indian film business? And
No.
no, well, you should start by finding out. Um,
Uh,
you know, Mumbai is probably the capital of the Indian film business, but in almost every city in India, there are film producers and actors and productions going on. So I would start by using Google and look for film executives near me or film agents near me, and try to get into that pattern.
Uh, Dr. Kane, I just telling my novel. It's a high fantasy thriller where the protagonist Fred discovers a portal to another realm with seeking justice. I have designed it specifically with a cinematic vision in mind. Would it be all right if I send you a brief synopsis later via LinkedIn?
Yes, you can send it to us, and we'll take a look at it and get back to you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Right.
Thank you.
So, Charlotte, you might want to put my email on the board.
Yes, I'll go ahead and yeah,
Okay.
I'll put the email
All
and you
right.
can email us and then we'll get back to you.
Okay. Good luck. Thanks, Grace.
Thank, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, so next we have Jess.
I
Hey,
can.
Jess,
I can. Hi, Charlotte. Um,
where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles area, Long Beach.
Okay.
After I've been sending out hundreds of emails about my script, which was a finalist at Cannes, and I'm still getting no response. In rare instances, I receive return emails that say, we're not looking for new material, or we don't look at unsolicited material. I had one producer, before he would even think about it, ask me if I had financing and a director already. And he wasn't going to look at anything that didn't, which I don't know. I always thought that was the producer's job to get those. So what's the best way to get a producer to read a script?
To do exactly what you're doing is the best way, and just never give up. It's,
Okay.
the market is, extremely crowded. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people out there have stories, and that causes a glut in the chain of submission. There's so many emails that everyone's dealing with. It's like Sisyphus's rock that we all have to keep pushing up the hill. And the problem, that's the problem. The opportunity is that out of all of those thousands of submissions and emails, very few are about stories that really work in Hollywood. I mean, very few. Probably a percentage of like 3 or 4%.
Yeah, I've read scripts for Film Freeway, and that seems to be about the right proportion.
Yeah, and this is the problem that we're all dealing with, is how do you get through the glut in order to get somebody's attention? And the only answer, other than inventiveness, is persistence. You just have to keep persisting, and you have to keep, I always say, mumbling pagan chants, hoping the gods will come in and give you a break, and just keep at it, because if you keep at it, you'll get a break. It's just that it may come, it may be longer than you think. We've had movies that go into production in 6 months after we've sold them, and ones that have taken 21 years. That's Meg, the Meg. And I noticed Steve Elton is here. Hey, Steve. Steve can tell you. Steve can tell you what to do in the waiting room, because I think he's written something like 14 novels. How many is it, Steve?
I'm on number 20.
Number 20. I
And
can't even keep.
it's in 7 original scripts.
And 7 scripts, one
Including,
of which we, one of which
one you're
we're
working on.
Sorry.
Including the one you're working on.
Yeah, one of which we're about to start pitching to the studios, called Mr. Irrelevant. And Steve knows probably better than anyone on this call what the waiting room was all about. He's been waiting he could have been waiting for the last, 30 years, but he hasn't been waiting. He keeps making more stories. Most of them are wonderful. And it's the only way to do it is persistence. And, I hate to be bringing this up, but I see it's already a question everybody has, is AI can be extremely useful in this regard. Like if you go to AI and ask it, tell it about your story and ask it, where is the market for this story? It gives you a very super intelligent response and detailed. And it takes, of course, about a minute for it to come up with that. So one of the things that writers ask is, what do we do about AI? And my biggest answer is you use it. Figure out how to use it because it was invented by humans. You're human, and you're going to continue being human for the rest of your life. And it would be silly for you to ignore such a powerful human tool. It would be like somebody back in the 15th century ignoring the printing press because they had problems with it philosophically.
Does any particular AI stand out as far as accuracy and um, good advice as far as where the market is for the script?
No, from my meager experience, it doesn't matter which one you use. They all have access to the entire bank of internet knowledge. Uh, so I'm not an AI specialist in that regard, but I'm sure you could even ask AI which is the best AI to use, for to
When
market my
when you
film.
say to ask it where the market is for the script, do you mean what production companies or your word?
Just say, yeah, where is the market for my story about, and then describe your story in detail, and it'll give you enough answers to keep you busy for the next 2 months.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. All right. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Good luck with it, and nice to talk to you.
If I may just jump in for a moment and answer your question, Jess, my recommendation is start with ChatGPT. I've used it for 2.5 years now, and it's become an indispensable tool. And if you use very detailed queries, it will give you precisely what you need. I have been taking a Udemy course in AI/chat GPT. I'm about halfway through it, but I don't really feel like I need to finish it because what it taught me in the first 5, 6 lessons was how to structure queries to chat GPT in a way that get you what Ken just described. And I can assure you that if you take the trouble to enter the right queries and you use the latest version of ChatGPT, which I believe is 5.3, you're going to be able to get answers to everything you need. And you're also going to find that it's a very valuable writing tool in the sense that, I write pretty much every day. And when I get to a point of just complete exhaustion or writer's block, I will ask ChatGPT to generate some ideas. Uh, I'm trying to express X. I can't seem to come up with a good metaphor, or I'm having frustration with it. Give me some examples in this voice. And the nice thing about ChatGPT is you can ask it to assume the expert persona of whoever you need help with. So you actually tell it, you are a Hollywood casting agent, or you are a Hollywood producer that's looking for new scripts in this genre. And the more detailed your query is, the more detailed the answer you're going to get back. And indeed, you will find that the answers are so complete that you'll begin to think that, in fact, ChatGPT is alive. I actually asked ChatGPT last week, "Are you a conscious entity?" And Chat GPT says, no, I'm not a conscious entity, but I know how to, approximate that for your benefit because I've been trained on every library on Earth and can come back with very detailed responses. So I think that's a great place to start. If you do sign up for the Udemy course, they're going to educate you, and you can sign up. I think it's like 1995. You can sign up through YouTube, or you can just go straight to Udemy. And for 1995, you're going to get a year's worth of training, and you can either push it through all the way through and get your certification if that means anything. I'm not that interested in certification. I just love using it now. And I think it'll be a tremendous help in what you're trying to achieve.
Okay,
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate you jumping in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, let's move on. We are gonna, let's see who the next person is. We have Lenny. If you want to go ahead and prepare your question.
All right. Thank you very much, Ken. Good to see you as always.
you too. Hope you've been well.
I'm sorry?
I hope you've been well.
Well, not really, but that's okay. Quick question. As one who is naturally an introvert and with very, very few social media skills, to me, the biggest obstacle is that of marketing and specifically doing things like getting a newsletter, which I'm not sure necessarily would have converted to sales anyway. But is there anyone who actually can take a writer by the hand and say, do this, do that, without bankrupting the author and then delivering absolutely nothing? Is there anyone you would recommend?
That's a great question. And it's a question that we've wrestled with for the last 20 years. Because PR and all of those relate all of those services focused on visibility are kind of non-guarantee services. You can't measure them directly, with the exception of Amazon ads, which we use now and when we help people with their PR. And because you can't measure them directly, the results are wildly mixed. The primary focus of all of it is visibility. You have to find ways to make yourself visible, and some companies have ways that make you visible in the podcast world. Some make you visible through, websites, and some put a lot of effort into making you visible. And at the end of the day, you don't really feel that visible. And so your question is very good. We're working with a company now that we have high hopes for, but they are expensive. And when you say bankrupt somebody, well, that's an extreme word to use, and you're not going to do well in this business if you use extreme words, because it's not about that. It's about plotting away. The middle course is best, as Aristotle said. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but there are companies, there are services, some of which we offer ourselves in story merchant book marketing, but there are no guarantees with any of them. There's a book, I forget the name of, but it's 101 Ways to Make Your Books Visible, is the gist of the title. If you drop me an email, I can send it to you, the actual title. And I used to just open it at random and do one item every day when a book comes out, because doing nothing is the worst possible strategy, and doing anything is a better strategy than doing nothing. So I urge you to start doing some things yourself. And
This meeting is being recorded.
what happened? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute everyone.
Oh, okay. So anyway, Lenny, that's the best I can tell you. You also might try Chat GPT to give you ideas.
Ah, another great suggestion. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Charlotte?
Okay, yeah, the next person is Diego.
Diego?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, how you
Uh,
doing?
thanks for having me here today. Nice to hear from you, your experience and everything. So,
Where are you?
me from Chile. I'm coming from Chile.
Yeah.
Uh,
Great. Welcome.
and thank you. So, my question is that I I wrote a feature screenplay, uh, and I published it as a book in a screenplay format. I self-published in Amazon and a few other platforms. Do you think it's a good idea to do that in this effort to look for visibility, or it could harm the possibilities of my screenplay to become a film?
I'm not clear what the question is. Is it a good idea to do what?
To publish your screenplay as a book. I did that.
Oh, I see.
So
Uh,
I
I
don't know.
would say
Sometimes I
generally,
wonder if I did the good thing.
yeah, I would say generally no. Um, it's a useless, it's dangerous, let's put it that way, a dangerous exposure of your intellectual property to put it out that way when the ultimate, purpose of a screenplay is to have it turned into a movie. Um, and giving away your ideas in that book form, I don't see the benefit of it. What I often suggest is that people turn their screenplays into books, that you rewrite the screenplay as a book and publish it that way. Because if somebody reads that book, they might say, hey, this would be a good movie. And then you could say, well, I just happen to have a screenplay already to show you. The book market reaches everyone, obviously, not just Hollywood. It reaches the whole world. And so you never know who it might reach. It might reach an actor, it might reach a director, a producer, or it might reach a guy with money. Um, uh, but whoever it reaches, you're not endangering anything because you've already got the book is copyrighted and you have the rights to it. And behind it, you have the screenplay. So we've often turned screenplays into books um, for our authors and got them published. I mean, I have a crazy example, which I love to give, which is that one of our clients once wrote a book that I thought was wonderful, well, a screenplay. So he placed in the Nichols Awards, which are, the most prestigious screenplay awards out there. And I read it and signed it. So Story Merchant represented it. And we took it to every studio. We got a lot of interest, but nobody bought it because they'd never heard of it before. And,
Oh,
it was a screenplay based on his original ideas. God forbid Hollywood do anything like that, right? So I said, why don't we turn this into a book? And long story short, he agreed with me. We turned it into a book, and I sold it at auction in New York to a traditional publisher. This was back in the traditional publisher days, 15 years ago. And as soon as it came out as a book, I took it back to Hollywood and sold it in an auction to a major studio. Uh, and part of the deal was they had to buy his script too. But that's an example of how much clout books have in Hollywood. I did that with another client. We turned his brilliant idea into a book, sold it as a book first, and then almost overnight auctioned it as a screenplay, which he wrote. Um, so the screenplay is not the vehicle for a story that is the best one to send out to the public. It's the book is for the public. So I urge you to think about turning it into a book. And, we have a coaching program that I could work with you on to do that. One-on-one coaching, which is one of our services that we offer writers through the Writers Lifeline. But it's a good question. And, the answer is complicated because the world we deal with is complicated. And we have to think of all kinds of interesting and crazy ways to get our visibility into that world. And screenplay is what Hollywood likes, but they like books even more. So I hope that gives you something to think about.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for your question.
Okay, so next up we have Leah.
Leah? Yeah. Is it your
was
question,
it an
Leah?
accident? Or did you have a question? Sorry, you're muted.
We didn't hear the name, Charlotte.
Leah?
Leah. Okay, Leah, turn on your microphone, please.
Let me.
I like the cards on your bulletin board.
Thank you.
Did you have a question or did you mean to raise your hand? Okay.
Leah, where are you?
Oh. Okay. Yeah, we can go to the next person and then
Yeah, Leah, work on
figure
that
out.
and we'll get back to you.
Okay. So Richard, you are up next.
Great, thanks.
Hey, Richard, how's it going?
How are you? Doing well, thanks.
I love the cover. I love the cover of your book.
Thank you. Oh, I'm very excited about it. I think it looks really great in the red. So yeah, can't wait for it to come out. Yeah, thank you. Just want to know, Ken, could you talk about some ways that as a writer I can make myself more marketable? Like, how do I cultivate my marketability of myself, kind of in preparation for my book coming out?
Well, that's a great question, and it's a variation of the same question. You could write blogs, for example, and circulate them. You can go to blogs that are related to your subject and respond on them. There's dozens of ways to make yourself visible, and I suggest that, there's a good question you can ask ChatGPT as well. How do I make myself visible? And it'll give you ideas and specific instructions about how to do it. So I would start with that, but you can do speaking. For example, Chamber of Commerce, has weekly speakers, and if you've got a subject that interests them, they'll put you in front of their group. And there's kind of a rule in marketing. It's kind of a silent rule, but I think it's called impressions. And you need to have a number of impressions. Like, you do one thing to make yourself visible, there's not likely to be much reaction to that. If you do 5 things, you've gotten to the place where where it's beginning to make you visible. It's just a rule. Like, the more things you do, the more different things you do, the more likely you are to become visible. So make a list of everything you can do from where you are. Where are you, by the way? Where do you live? Forgot.
Thousand Oaks, California. So California. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there are thousands of opportunities in the Southern California area, and just start figuring out what they are and doing them. And because getting yourself out there and visible is what leads to um, which leads luck to get off her chair and go out there and help you. If you just do one thing, hey, she's not that excited. But the more things you do, the more likely she's to jump to her feet and give you a little bit of a boost. So
Gotcha.
I would
Okay,
just say,
great.
make a list and check it twice and then start doing it.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Sure. So can we go back to Leah now?
Yes, I'll put her back up.
Thank you for bearing with me. I thought that I had it set up. My name is Leah Tarwater. I'm from Kansas City. I'm a screenwriter, and I was curious what you meant by stories that are ready for Hollywood and they are capable of even being made for movies as they like to.
So what was the question again?
You said earlier about there are so many screenplays that aren't fit for Hollywood. I was curious what you mean by that.
Well, I mean that they're stories that just are not like movies that are being made at all. You get them all the time, and it's almost like the writer has never seen a movie. Um, and that's a big mistake. I mean, Hollywood, like everywhere else, is focused on gravity, and gravity goes to the least common denominator. And obviously, people love thrillers, they love stories, they love historical stories if they're thrillers or if they're filled with action. So probably the number one genre that Hollywood is in love with is action. And I don't know why writers ignore that, but it's a mistake to ignore it because it's probably the easiest kind of script to sell. But what are you working on? What kind of a story? Are those your screenplay notes in the background?
Yes, don't zoom in. That's my whole story right there. I
Okay.
have a log line if you wouldn't mind me reading it.
What?
I have a log line if you wouldn't mind me reading it.
Sure. But I'd rather you told it to me instead of reading it
That's
because,
fair.
yeah, just tell it to me. It doesn't matter if it's word for word, you know?
Okay. It's a West Coast trip leaves a beloved professor to face the kind of devil's advocate topics he faces in class, and his kid, his introverted kid, to understand inheritance as more than that material value.
So say it again.
It's a bit of a road trip movie. They're going down the West Coast. It's a professor and his kid, and they are facing their own relationship and their relationships with other people.
Yeah. That's very I mean, people love road trip movies and they love father-child movies. Um, but what you need to do is add some kind of stakes to it all. Like if let's say they hadn't been speaking for 3 years and he takes this trip and they open up to each other, but we don't know. We need to know what the stakes are.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, it's a good solid area to do stories in.
Okay, great. And then I was also curious your thoughts on programs like the Blacklist or submitting screenplays to festivals.
Well, I'm in favor of anything gets visibility, right? So it's a question of which festivals. I mean, you can. I sometimes see somebody's screenplay has been, had placed in 3 different festivals, and I've never heard any of the 3 festivals. But if it's in the Austin Film Festival, or the Santa Barbara Film Festival, or ones that, obviously a writers guild situation, the higher the visibility of the festival, the better it is for the screenplay. So, and it doesn't hurt from your ego's point of view to go to, whatever festival is around. Like, I don't know if Kansas City has a festival. I'm from Kansas City, by the way. Where do you live in Kansas City?
I'm in Overland Park at the moment.
Overland Park. yeah, most of my relatives are either at Overland Park or Lenexa or, you know, right in that area.
Yeah.
Um, but so I don't know if Kansas City has a film festival, but you should look into that. And if it does, then start with that. Uh,
Okay.
because partly the reason for festival awards is let's face it, it's your ego. It makes you feel better if your screenplay places. But I've judged festival entries in my long past, University of Texas, for example, and I've been sent, say, 5 runners up to judge which is the winner. And this is over and over again. I've seen this where not one of the 5 is worthy of Hollywood. Um, so the problem with festivals is unless it's a prestigious festival with a track record like Austin, uh, then just be careful that you don't put too much stock in if you win a festival that no one's ever heard of, because the judges and the organizers, they need to really be film people who made movies and been in Hollywood. And so I wish you luck with that, but that's an okay way to get started.
Okay.
It's better than, nothing for sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, we don't have anyone else in the queue, but I did want to bring up Belinda. I know you reached out and gave a few questions. I don't know if you wanted to ask them here or if you wanted me to read them aloud from your email, because we found both your questions very interesting.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Ken. Great to see you
Hey,
after so
Belinda.
many years. How you doing?
Yeah,
I'm so
it's
glad to
been
get
a
on
long
this Zoom.
time.
I know. I didn't know if you'd remember me. And
Yeah.
I still got a lot of your advice in the book I've been working on forever. Um, Maybe one day I'll be able to send it. Um, so my question, well, AI, basically I know everybody's asked about AI. I've been a big fan of AI. I've been using it as my editor, and it's been really helpful. Um, it's taught me how to, it actually teaches me about what I'm writing that I'm not even aware of, what it represents, and it's a thriller, it's international. Um, so anyway, I was just wondering how the publishing industry looks at somebody who's using AI as an editor. I've just been using it as a tool, not to write my book because I've got written. I'm in the editorial stage to finalize it to get it out. So that's where I am at with that. And then the second question, I'm sorry, what?
I was going to say, how in the world would they know whether you've used AI or not?
I don't know. I just had a fear that they're going to say, oh my God, I don't know. That was my question. But hearing you talk about it makes me feel a lot better about it. I kind of have felt guilty about using it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the 2 steps in using AI are use AI, and secondly, hide AI.
yeah, yeah,
In other words, the final product has to be in your spirit and your style and your feels like you.
yeah.
Uh,
And
and if it doesn't, then you can see a mile away if that's
yeah,
all you're turning in is AI.
no, I can't see how somebody could use AI without being a really good editor themselves because some of the stuff
Right.
it comes out with is like, so,
Exactly.
but yeah, but it really has helped me. And it actually has given me a lot of confidence about it. What's good about it and things.
Yeah.
And the second question, because it's has an part of the story takes place in a French colonization in New Caledonia. It's
Hmm.
that's the third part of the story. The protagonist, the antagonist, and then this it's like a character. Um,
Right.
so as far as I've been in touch with them, and I don't know if this is possible. I don't know. I've never seen it, but maybe it's just me being unaware of it. Of I would love to have a writer, one of the indigenous writers, on the book with me. I would love to do it because it's actually their story. But the third part of the book is their story. There's the father and the daughter, and then there was anyway, I won't go into it. But that was my curious about how if that would be something possible.
Yeah, why is it necessary? I mean, if it's your book, I would try to, you know, to do your best to fictionalize their voice and not complicate things,
Okay.
complicate the rights, to unless the whole book is co-written by both of you.
No, it wouldn't be possible
Yeah,
because
so
I've
no,
got, yeah. Okay.
that person that whoever you might be talking about should just be regarded as material for your book, like somebody you would interview for a book, and and you do your best to be faithful to their to their culture, to their personality, and
Yeah. And I've
that's a
done that.
writer's job.
Yeah. And I have the character, it's all fleshed out.
Yeah.
I just felt, it's part of this story. And anyway, so that's great. I'm glad I
Yeah.
was able to ask you. Okay.
Yeah. So if we can help you at some point, we have a project launch analysis, it's called, where you submit your present manuscript and we give you a detailed analysis of its strengths, its weaknesses, what to do about the weaknesses, and in general, its marketability.
Okay.
And
Okay.
keep that in mind. And
What is it called? What is the
it's
title of
called the
that?
project launch analysis. These are all on writerslifeline.com, which Charlotte just posted the address for. And it's one of the several, over the years, we've created different services based on needs for writers. The whole Writers Lifeline was created to help writers. And most of the big deals we've made over the past came from the Writers Lifeline, where we worked on the project through the Writers Lifeline and then took it to the next stage of representation and all of that. So it's kind of, because I was a professor and editor in my previous life, I created this company to help writers with whatever I know about the market and about, the kind of work they need to do in order to get into the market. Because no matter how, I mean, I get things submitted to me that are beautifully written in the sense of, let's say, academia, and they're completely unmarketable because they aren't about the market. I mean, the main, I always tell writers that the main character in a novel is the reader. It's the reader. It's not just the character that you create. It's keeping the reader part of the story, and doing that is a narrative skill. It's called narration and point of view. And most of the writers who were on this call who work with me understand that they've learned it. It's kind of the last thing you learn in fiction is how to write, how to create a narrator. Anyway, we help with all of those things, and it's my biggest pleasure in life, other than seeing the camera roll for the first time on a movie, is helping writers get there, because it's been done. People sell things to Hollywood. They sell things to publishers. They publish their own and sell many copies. And I always tell kind of like a midwife whose job it is to help you give birth to that thing you've been trying to give birth to for years and years, and figure out what's stopping you and helping you, get over that hurdle, whatever it is.
Well, I'm in the where I'm at with it is I'm the last stage and I'm going through I'm editing it. And this is the final push. I've sent it out before when it wasn't ready. And now with the help of AI, I'm pretty sure it'll be done I'm hoping my goal is 6 months before I leave the planet. So anyway, maybe we'll see what happens when I get to the end, but
okay, well,
that's
it's
my
good to
goal.
see you again, Belinda, and thanks for
Yeah.
checking back in.
I don't know if you remember the Paris 68 evenements.
What?
Remember that? The Paris 68, the student demonstration?
Yeah.
You had told me about it, and it's in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
thanks, Ken. It was great to see
all
you
right.
again. Yeah.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, so I'm gonna have Steven go. Let me put him up. He couldn't do the raise hand feature, and then I can go back to Leah if we have time, but we're gonna start wrapping things up
All
after
right, I shouldn't be long. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Steven.
I'm pitching a thriller next month in New York City at the Right to Pitch conference in New York. I see that you're on the faculty, and so if you're there, you might get a chance to hear my pitch. Um,
I'm on the faculty at a New York Pitch Fest.
yes, the Right to the Mike Neff's
Oh,
conference.
why not? Right.
You're listed.
Old friend.
Anyway, so I guess you're not going to be there. It sounds like you're hearing this for the first time.
I don't know. Whatever Mike wants me to do, I usually do it. So,
well, you're pretty faces on the publication announcing this conference. But in any event, I'm going to be there pitching.
Well, I hope that helps.
I'm pitching a thriller that I feel, and some others feel, might have some screen potential. So my question to you is, should someone in our position that writes a thriller that gets published, I agree, it would be nice to see the book before the movie, should we consider also writing the screenplay version of our fictionalized thriller?
That's a very good question. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for two reasons. Number one, you have to be a great screenwriter to write a screenplay that people will buy. And very few people are. It's very difficult, much harder than being a novelist, for example. The second reason is even more onerous, and that is that Hollywood, believe it or not, would rather spend $1 million to pay a well-known screenwriter to do a screenplay when they're trying to do a movie, because that then attracts a major director, it attracts major cast. Whereas if the screenplay is by the author of an unknown author of an unknown novel, there are cases where it's okay, it makes sense, but they're rare. And there's a case where you really should talk to somebody in detail about it, like before you do it. And I'd say stick to what you do best.
Okay. The reason I ask is that Pat Conroy, when he wrote it, he published his first successful novel, The Great Santini. Afterwards, he let Hollywood produce his movie, Great Santini. They hired their screenwriter, and he wrote, I think in his autobiography, that he regretted not doing it himself, that he would have made a lot more money had he wrote the screenplay. So I just remember him saying that, and I'm wondering then why he said it if it's so hard.
That shows a remarkable ignorance of how Hollywood works, because he's comparing apples and oranges and not even knowing it. He would make a lot more money if he were the famous author of The Great Santini and Prince of Tides. Okay, but he wasn't the author of very well-known books at that time, where there were screenwriters who were famous for their movies, and they make a lot of money, but he would not have made that money back then. So it's like a hypothetical that makes me crazy, because it's such a waste of time to do a hypothetical like that. You know what I mean? So when you hear something like that, take it with a massive grain of salt and ask yourself if it really makes sense. And if you don't know, then ask somebody about it. Yeah, I mean, I love him. He's a great writer, but was he a great screenwriter back then? Don't know. Don't think so. And that's why he would have made more money. But, I've had cases where the writer insisted on doing the screenplay and was paid a modest amount of money, modest meaning a couple of $100,000. And then they immediately once he finished his screenplay, immediately hired $1 million writer to rewrite it. And that too is tricky because $1 million writers don't like rewriting somebody else's screenplay. They'd rather go from the novel. So it's very, very weird. It's complex, but it all makes sense when you break it down, one by one. But good luck with it.
Well, thank you very much.
If I'm there, I'll see you.
Okay, now I'm probably not going to rewrite it as a screenplay, so thank you.
Okay, good. Good. But we're here if you need help at some point.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we're almost
one more question, Charlotte.
Yeah, let's have Leah come up, and then we're gonna have another one of these. So we'll send out emails to the newsletter. But thank you all for coming again. But we'll have Leah wrap up, and then we'll conclude.
Yeah, one thing we'd love to know from all of you is whether this was worthwhile and whether you'd like to see another one, and we'd appreciate that.
Okay, so I have my screenplay written, and I also have a one sheet and a pitch deck. I was curious if you could recommend any other information I could have when I am pitching or talking to producers.
No, that's probably all you need to start with. And you just send them less is better. And if they're interested, they'll ask for more.
Okay.
We're not shy. So don't worry about that. Just send us enough to pique our interest first. And say you have a pitch deck and all of that, but don't send it immediately.
Okay.
Send a pitch first.
Okay.
And I always like to, when we send out pitches, we like to include a visual, something catchy in the visual.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Well, good luck, everybody. Thank you again. Here's Charlotte's just putting up a feedback document, and appreciate your feedback that I'm getting from you right now, and hope to see you in the next one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Very much
Thank you so
appreciated.
much.
Thank you, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.